Hi, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Dr. Debs here. If you are just joining me or see my face for the first time, this is Dr. Debs, and I'm happy you are seeing me. So please, if you have just subscribed, hit that subscribe button immediately so that you won't miss out on any of our juicy content. Yes, today is a great day because this is the first episode of our interview series, and I've been promising in my previous videos that we're going to have interviews. I'm going to have interviews with my colleagues, and today marks the very first episode of our interviews. And I have an amazing colleague that is joining me today. His name is Dr. Joy Babayemi. He's going to introduce himself, when it comes up. But we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. I know I talked about the fact that failure in medical school is inevitable, and sometimes you fail tests, sometimes you even have to fail exams. And he's going to be telling us his experience and how he scaled through. And don't even think about, he's a medical doctor. In fact, he's my oga self. He's my oga in this profession. So yes, I'm going to be bringing him up now. So Dr. Joy, I'm going to be bringing you up now. Hi, Dr. Joy. Can you hear me?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening. How are you doing?
Yes. So welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for honoring my invitation. I know it was a short notice, but thank you so much. And it's good to see your face after like 2 years. Post medical school is a scam. How was MO like? And everything.
Quite busy. Quite a busy period. Very busy. I'm a busy man to see these days, but it's been good. It's been good. We're fine. We're pushing.
Thank God. So I think we can just jump into the video because I have so many questions for you today, and I know that you are also working with time. I know you said you have to be somewhere in a few minutes, so that we can just quickly do it. And yes, so can we meet you? Can you just introduce yourself briefly to us and to my audience?
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Joy Babayemi. I was classmate with the way, like she said. I work as a medical officer at Seventh-day Adventist Hospital, Ile-Ife.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm primarily because I had this question a million times. Talking to people about writing the exams again and again. And talking about this part of me, I really love to talk about this part of me. So yeah, I'm happy to be here again.
Wow, thank you so much for giving us audience. I think one thing that actually struck me what you said was the fact that you are happy to talk about it. A lot of people don't, they shy away from talking about their failures and all that, but I feel like failure is just a failed attempt in learning, and you even have the opportunity to relearn and even do better and be better. And I'm so glad that we can actually see that someone is not ashamed of talking about it. Besides, you're a doctor today, nobody's going to ask you that, okay, how many times did you fail in medical school and all that? So it's true. Just to encourage people that may be in that kind of situation and all that. So next question. Why did you want to study medicine and surgery?
Okay. A difficult one to answer. I always struggle to answer this question, but I'll try and be as honest as I can be. So, like I always say every time I ask this question, I primarily did not want to study medicine.
Wow.
I just wanted to go to a football academy, just learn to play football, become a professional football player and stuff. But the bureaucracy with getting into the system, getting a but so I had to just dump that and slide into what appeared to be the next available option. So, and growing up, we didn't really talk about much professions in my house. It was largely you become a doctor or you become a doctor. So my staff is a doctor, so I mean it's more like a reflex decision. So it was an easy one
Flex.
for me. That's about it.
Wow, that's nice because it's also interesting to know that you wanted to become a footballer, but then plans changed. Abi. And I think you actually now fell in love
Yeah.
with medicine, even more than all of us that we actually wanted to do it.
Well,
Yes, now.
I won't particularly say fall in love with person. It's just a personal principle. Whatever your hand finds to do,
Yes, to do.
do it well. So it could have been anything else. It could have been marketing. I would still have dedicated, put in so much effort into it. It's not about being a medical person. It's just about what I find to do at that point. Do it to the best of my ability and move on. Life is in phases.
Okay, so what year did you get into medical school? And yes, what year did you get into medical school? Let me rephrase the question. What year did you finish from secondary school? And then what year did you get into medical school?
Oh, okay. I finished secondary school in 2012, 232, yeah, 232. But UI was the one that would call you for post jam, so I didn't get into UI. They did not even invite me for post jam, so I had to
Wow.
wait until 2013 to write jam
Okay.
again. And then I had a chance to write the post jam, and I got in. Finally resumed in 2014, June 2014.
10. Wow. Okay. That's nice. Okay, so what was preclinical school like for you? Like the first experience of
Uh,
clinical school?
Okay, because I would have divided it that way. Actually, my first experience was quite different from my second experience. So the first time I was quite inexperienced with. Well, I mean, I've always been used to being diligent, being dutiful, study hard, and all stuff. Uh, but finishing 100 level, starting 200 was kind of a shocker, a shocking culture for me, really. I've always been used to maintaining a high tempo, be scoring quite high in school and stuff, but starting clinicals, realizing the amount of details I have to read and how short the time I had. I have never been quite a fast reader. I take my time a lot. I read quite slowly, but once I get a concept, I get it. But I read quite slowly. So having to match my pace with the pace of medical school was quite a tough work. And of course, I had other commitments in at hand that were also time demanding. So it was difficult to juggle things up. Let me put it that way. I'll just keep it as mild as that. It's quite a long story, but it was difficult to juggle things together. So I don't. it was bad. I kept failing test upon test. I can't remember passing one test. Okay, probably one physiology test. Aside that, I failed practically all my tests. The exams were not funny either. I
Wow.
remember cracking the exam was one anatomy exam. Yes,
Wow.
I was just blank. I was
Wow.
blank. I didn't know. I could not answer a single question. I was just sitting down there crying so hard.
Wow.
Experience went.
Wow. So do you think it was because you mentioned, okay, so like a culture shock, the shift in environment, the shift in responsibilities of books to read and all that, and everybody knows that clinical school is so voluminous, like you don't even know where to start and everything, and nobody's really even guiding you about do this and do that. Everybody's just in the reading room doing their own thing. So did you think it was just the culture shock or the changing, or do you think it was a strategy issue? Did you think, at least looking in retrospect now, do you think there could have been like better ways that you could have approached it, like that first time,
Ah,
that even as a
oh,
novice,
okay,
like you might
okay.
have been able to scale through? Yeah.
Well, I think it's multifactorial really. So one aspect of it was a different challenge from what I was used to all along. It was a different kind of challenge, which also meant I probably would have not probably I needed to modify my technique to approaching school. Okay, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just wanted to employ the same technique. I felt if it had worked so far, it probably would work this time too. So it
Yeah.
was a new challenge. I didn't learn to modify my approach to it. I did not have someone to put me through, which is why I took it upon myself to guide as many people as I could throughout school until I left to guide quite a number of people walking down the years. Okay, because I just felt if I knew many things I knew when I was writing the exam the second time, I probably would not have had an issue with the attempt the first time. So, and of course, like I said, I had quite some commitments that were also time consuming. Not necessarily because I could not juggle them with medical school, but like I said, I didn't have someone to put me through about
To
how I could
guide
have approached the whole thing. Yeah.
you.
So that's
Thank you so much. So, were there any significant struggle points that you like identify looking at it in retrospect? Like particular struggle points that were significant in your first experience of clinical school? Maybe
yes,
there
yes.
were.
Like I said, first I could first to cope with the demands of reading large details. So that was the major challenge for me. That was a major challenge. Of course, I would not break down. I would continue to go. But what that did to me was I stopped attending classes at some point because I felt I needed the time I spent in class to focus more on
To
reading, to try
gather.
and cover some grounds. Yeah. Well, in retrospect, that was a that was a wrong way to do it. But that was the wrong way to do it. But that was what I felt I could do. I mean, to serve the situation at
Yeah.
hand. So yeah, that was that. The practicals were not any different. But again, like I said, it all boils down to having someone hold your hands and guide you through that experience. Yeah, once you scale through that first part, you will almost always be able to find your way around the others. You just need to get
Yeah.
through that first, and yeah, you pick up
That first
yourself.
part. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's talk about the first MB1 exam. How was it for you? I know you said you cried
It
in
was
one exam
terrible.
already.
It was
Oh my
terrible.
god,
It was terrible.
yeah.
It was terrible. Again, like I said, it's a different experience from my second one because I was more informed, well matured second time. And okay, so the first one, the first thing that comes to memory is the fact the day was supposed to start the exam was the birthday of my ex girlfriend, and so whilst reading for exam, I had to make plans for. By the way, she was a student somewhere else now. That's reading for exams. I had to make plans for her and stuff. So after I had cried exam, so when I finished each day, I would call her. When you cried on the phone to tell her I went blank in the exam. Or
Wow.
my ex had just received the package I sent to her, and then she called to just express herself. I had to summon some courage, wipe my tears, and talk like everything was fine.
My
And then
goodness.
went on to the second day, it was the same thing. By the time I got to the third day, I was used to not knowing what to write, feeling bad about the whole
Wow.
thing, getting tired and stuff. So it didn't make any difference to
Wow.
me anymore. I just wanted to finish the exam and get on with it, know what my fate would be to write again, or if I would luckily escape. So yeah, but it was a tough period. It was an anatomy exam. I cried. The MCQ you can at least guess your way through. Feel like you'll be fine. But this was essay. You can't guess your way through. There were 10 questions staring at me. I looked at
Yeah.
everything. I had zero idea about any of them. And I looked around. My colleagues were busy writing.
Ah. Oh,
My
it's
colleagues
normal.
were busy writing. And I was just there looking empty. I was a lecturer had to come meet me.
Wow.
What's going on?
What does that mean?
I would not mention her name, but I mean, she's one of those that people would not expect to do that.
Are you
She came to me and was
serious?
like, what's happening?
What's going
I
on?
said, I don't know. I don't know what to write. Are you serious? I said, yes. She was shocked. She took the question back from me, looked at it, then looked at me again. Are you sure you can't remember anything? I'm not joking. I don't know what to write. And then she looked at my face, looked at the question. She dropped the question paper, walked away. After a few minutes, she came back, looked at me again. Said, look at this question paper again. Look at this particular one. You can't remember anything about this. I said, I can't. I don't know anything. What's going? What's this? I'm not used to this kind of thing. Of which one can I on question? For God's sake, and I had to be there for about an hour thereabout. So I'll just be here for an hour looking. Yes, that was what I did. I was there for 1 hour, just looking at my colleagues. I could not write a single word.
Wow.
So when time was up, I had to submit that way and hold my head.
You submitted an empty sheet. Empty sheets.
What would
that empty?
What would I have done? What would I have done? What would I have written? So my colleagues was
Wow.
my colleagues must have been shocked. I mean, I came to 200 level with a 7.0 CGPA, so
wow.
I didn't start off as a bad student. So having to see me go that way, it was difficult for them to reconcile the person they knew in first year with the person they were seeing in the exam. It was tough. But anyway, I had to leave the exam off fast, so I would not have to answer any questions from anybody. But that was how I went. It was quite a funny experience.
Wow. Let's go on. We still have a lot of questions. So what was the seeing your result experience like? When you obviously you already knew that okay, it was a bad experience, but how did you see your result? Did you see it? You know, I know they used to paste it somewhere, but I know I saw my own on our group page. But I know some people actually went to go and check to snap it. So how did you see your results? What was the experience like?
Well, I wanted to know what my fate would be, but somewhere in my heart of hearts, I knew I could expect the worst to happen. So I didn't go to the board. I checked the group. I looked for my matric number everywhere. Looked under the receipt.
Wow.
It was nowhere to be found. And then I think someone asked on the group, what does it mean if you can't find a matric number? And then someone had to say, if you can't see it in both places, it means you failed, and then you would have a repeat automatically.
Wow. So was it like if you fail 2, you have to repeat, or the 3?
2 actually. If you fail 1, you have a receipt. In my own case, I passed 2 of them. Somehow I can't explain how, but somehow I passed anatomy. I can't. Probably my test and stuff. I don't know. I think I got 51 or so. Now the challenge was my practicals. I failed the practical exam, and
so it was physio and bike that you failed.
I had to write a repeat because I failed biochemistry and because I failed the practical of anatomy. No.
Oh, so you passed.
It was the practical.
Oh, so they were doing clinical failure even then in preclinical school.
Yeah. Yes. So it was it was my anatomy practical exam and biochemistry that
made you even repeat. Wow. So, but what's like the standard? You have to, what's the standard for repeats? Yeah. What's the standard for receipts?
If you just 1 course out of the 3, you write a receipt in 3 months. Okay. If you have to, like in my own case, you would have to write the repeats the following year.
People that failed degree too.
For anybody else.
Wow. Wow. So what were the emotions? How did you break it to your family? How did your colleagues react? What was your grieving like? The support system that you had? I'm asking like many things at the same time because of time.
It was quite a challenging period, and going for the exam, I almost had a family issue at that point because my grades were not good. Like I said, I had a major issue at that point in time. I would not want to share that openly here, but yeah, I had a major issue at that point in time, and so. But anyway, I was staying with my uncle and my aunt. I stayed with them throughout UI. I went to their house every weekend.
Wow.
So they were the first I broke the news, wondering what happened. But anyway, they were quite supportive with the process. My cousins were quite supportive, very supportive. Told my mom out on a Friday. By Monday morning, I just resumed class. I didn't wait for it. I just resumed class straight away. Went to put in my name for the practicals again and just started class. I was forced to resume among all of us. I didn't just sit sitting down to cry and to grieve over it. I felt
because I would grieve as
I just moved on.
Wow. What of your ex-girlfriend?
Crying and beating myself up. That's a story for another day. But she left. Sha.
This is why they say try to feeling, but I will not say it because it's my gender.
That's a story for another day.
Um,
And a story for another day. I left at that point. But
we move on to the next question. So, what was the repeat
it's kind of a
experience?
So after I resumed, initially it was difficult watching my initial classmates
That part.
go to UCH from school.
Usage, exactly. Like it's always very glaring.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult, and yeah, it was very very difficult. Yeah, at some point, we disappointed. I had an issue. Didn't know how best to communicate that. I had reports, and I felt even more disappointed about that. But I mean, for the most part, most people were supportive, very supportive.
So,
I had friends that were coming from UCH to check on me. UI just stay between for a while. I initially for like the first month or so, I wasn't trying to deceive anybody. It was just to kind of psych myself or encourage myself to just continue. So yeah, at least that gave me something to look forward to the following day. So I would also wear my shirt and tie, put on my work coat, and go to anatomy lecture theater. I joined a tutorial group quite early. It was fair camps then. For like the first few months before I stepped aside to start my own tutorial friends very early. I mixed with the class quite early. So in about 2 months you could hardly tell why I was joining
in
from the
fact,
first because
I
I blended into
literally
everybody
did not
else.
even, I almost did not even know self because you so much like moved into our class. So for those that don't know, Dr. Joy was actually like a year ahead of me. Then when he now repeated, he now joined my class. So one thing that stood out for me, because I remember that you used to teach us a lot. You just gather people together and teach in front of that dissection room and all that. I'm like, who is this? Who is this man? But that actually that was what even like struck me about your, like when I first met you and everything from a distance. I was just impressed that wow. Because usually the repeat students would just be on their own, they'll just stay, but you were like almost the only one that was always mingling with us and trying to make friends and all that. So it was really impressive. So let's go to the second exam experience.